Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something specific, cutting through some of the usual noise. We're looking at the Green Bay Packers offense, especially after their win against the Steelers, October 26th?
That's right. And the analysis that came out just a couple of days later is pretty confident stuff. The main idea isn't just, oh, the Packers are getting better. It's more dramatic.
How so?
The narrative is that the offense is like accelerating, hitting a new phase.
Okay, accelerating. So our job today is to figure out what that actually means. What are the mechanics behind that? Why now?
Exactly. And, the really big question underneath all this is about the quarterback, Jordan Love.
Right. Is he actually leveling up significantly? Is this a real sustainable jump or just, a good couple of games?
Well, and context matters here. The sources point out he just tied a Brett Favre franchise record.
Wow. Okay. So that adds some weight to the leveling up talk, doesn't it?
It definitely does. It frames why the sources are so bullish, saying the team, which was already improving, could be poised to hit another gear.
Another gear. That sounds like more than just steady progress.
Yeah. It implies something is clicking in a bigger way.
Yeah.
Maybe multiple things at once.
All right, let's get into the specifics then. Who's driving this? We have to start with the players making it happen, especially as we head into the back half of the season.
Agreed. And it starts with Love. The analysis isn't just saying he's playing well. It uses language like a foundational shift. That leveling up term seems pretty deliberate.
Okay, so Love's development is key, but a QB doesn't usually level up in a vacuum, right?
Exactly. And that brings us straight to tight end Tucker Kraft.
Ah, okay. I've been hearing his name a lot.
You probably have. He's apparently solidifying his reputation, not just as a good player, but as one of the NFL's real breakout stars.
Breakout star, so more than just reliable.
Oh, yeah. The sources call him one of the most explosive weapons Love has now.
Explosive. That's interesting for a tight end. So how does his emergence connect directly to Love leveling up? Why does that matter so much?
Well, think about it. For a young QB, having that kind of weapon, especially a tight end, it's huge. But it's not just about having a safety valve.
Okay.
Kraft is apparently creating, serious separation. And his yards after the catch, elite.
Gotcha. So Love can make a relatively safe throw, and Kraft turns it into something big.
Precisely. It lowers the pressure on Love significantly. He can throw with confidence, knowing Kraft can make a play happen after the ball arrives.
That makes sense. It's that connection, that trust and execution combo.
That's the engine. It's
Yeah.
not just Love improving or Kraft emerging. It's them doing it together, synchronizing. That's where the acceleration comes from.
Okay, so we've got Love and Kraft clicking. Now let's talk receivers, because this surge is happening right around the trade deadline.
The timing is interesting.
Yeah, and the conventional thinking, is usually that a team in this spot, maybe needing one more piece, would see someone like GM Brian Gutekunst looking outside, trading for a clear, no-one receiver.
Right. That's the standard playbook, often. But the analysis we're looking at pushes back on that hard.
How so?
It basically argues that the win over Pittsburgh showed that, well, help may already be on the way internally.
Internally, so they might not need to make that big trade.
That's the suggestion. That maybe sacrificing draft picks isn't necessary because the talent they need is already in the building.
How do they describe the current group, then, if there isn't that single dominant guy?
The term used is seemingly loaded with 1A weapons.
Okay, 1A weapons. Break that down for us. What does that mean in practical terms?
It means, they don't have the definitive alpha receiver, the guy everyone knows is the #1 target, but they have a collection of really good players, guys who are maybe just a step below that elite tier, but there's several of them. High-level depth.
So it's strength in numbers, essentially.
Exactly. A collective threat rather than relying on one person. And the proof, or at least the first big piece of evidence for this internal solution, came immediately with Christian Watson's return against the Steelers.
Ah, Watson. Yeah, his return was a big storyline. How did he look?
Stellar is the word used.
Yeah.
And here's the stat that really jumps out from the analysis.
Be it on me.
He caught every single target thrown his way by Love. All 4 of them.
Wow. 4 for 4? Coming right off an injury.
Yep. That kind of perfect connection, that immediate trust.
Right.
Says a lot about their chemistry and Love's comfort level throwing to him.
That definitely stabilizes things. But, okay, here's my question. Isn't relying on guys just coming back from injury a bit risky?
That's the potential catch, absolutely. Watson looked great, but the future growth, hitting that next gear we talked about, also seems to rely on another key receiver coming back.
Who's that?
Jaden Reed. He's described as another critical 1A type, and the sources say he shouldn't be too far behind in getting back on the field.
Okay, so it's Watson getting back to full strength and Reed returning soon. That feels like, well, a lot banking on health, doesn't it?
It is. There's definitely a dynamic tension there, like you said. The analysis is confident, very confident, in the potential of this internal group.
But potential needs to become reality on the field.
Right, and relying on two key guys simultaneously getting healthy and hitting their stride. Yeah, it's high reward, but there's risk baked in. The sources seem to acknowledge that risk, but they frame it more as pending fulfillment.
Pending fulfillment. How so?
Because even without Watson fully back and without Reed at all, the offense was already accelerating, mostly thanks to Love and Kraft. So the thinking is, if you add these other capable pieces back into that already functioning system,
Then the risk goes down and the potential reward goes way up.
exactly, they see it less as wishful thinking and more as the logical next step, assuming health cooperates.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's pull the threads together. We've got Love leveling up, Kraft having a breakout explosive season, Watson showing immediate impact on return, and Reed potentially close behind. For this offense to really reach that ceiling the sources talk about, becoming one of the NFL's most dominant, what specifically needs to happen? What are the conditions?
The sources actually lay out three pretty clear conditions, like prerequisites.
Okay, what are they?
One, Tucker Kraft has to keep playing at this dominant level, no drop-off.
Makes sense. Continue the breakout.
Two, Christian Watson needs to not just be back, but get stronger, really put that injury behind him, and build on that Steelers performance.
Okay, full recovery and ramp up.
And three, Jaden Reed needs to get back on the field and contribute. He's the missing piece to complete that 1A receiving core puzzle.
So Kraft stays dominant, Watson gets stronger, Reed returns. If all three of those things click,
Then you're moving past just acceleration. That's when you hit that other gear. That's the path to potential dominance they're talking about.
and the sources seem pretty convinced this is a sustainable trajectory.
Yeah, the implication is strong. It's the synergy, right? The QB leveling up, the TE breaking out, and multiple high-level receivers coming online at the same time. It feels calculated, based on the talent they've drafted and developed, finally maturing when they need it most.
The offense is solving its own problems, essentially.
That's a great way to put it.
So if we're summarizing the key takeaway from this deep dive, it's really that this whole acceleration narrative is built on internal growth.
Definitely. It's Kraft's emergence, Watson's effective return, Reed's anticipated return. It's not about waiting for some external savior via trade.
Which strategically changes the game heading towards the deadline, doesn't it?
Completely. And that actually raises a really interesting final question for you, the listener, to think about, especially considering other things we know about this team.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if this offense does reach that dominant level, if it truly accelerates like this, what kind of pressure does that put on the rest of the team?
Ah, interesting. Especially when you hear other reports, other sources talking about their defense.
Exactly. Some sources are already calling their edge rushers, Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, the NFL's most dominant edge rusher duo.
Right. So you've got potentially elite play on both sides of the ball answering internal questions.
So the focus shifts, doesn't it? If your biggest talent questions seem answered internally, does that make the front office, does it make Gutekunst more likely to be aggressive elsewhere? To maybe swing for the fences at the deadline on a different position group because the offense looks set?
Or do they just trust the overall depth they've built? That's a fascinating strategic crossroads.
It really is. From worrying about the offense finding its feet to potentially having the luxury to bolster other areas, that's quite a pivot.
A good problem to have, as they say. Really interesting stuff to track. Thanks for breaking all that down.
My pleasure. Always good to dive deep.